Figure China's new J-36 stealth fighter, here seen in a test flight, a radical tailless design that shaves off radar returns from every angle. In late 2024, China stunned the world by flying a radically new stealth jet over Chengdu. Dubbed the J-36, this tailless Trijet aircraft isn't just another fighter. It embodies a leap in air combat design. Imagine a warplane with the speed of a missile, the reach of a bomber, and the stealth of a ghost. That's what analysts are saying about the J-36. In this video, we'll count down 10 reasons why this Chinese 6th generation fighter could outclass and obsolete virtually every other jet in the skies. Each reason is backed by expert analysis and on the record data from aviation experts and governments. Let's get started. 1. Unmatched stealthy flying wing design. China's J-36 abandons decades of fighter convention with a tailless double delta flying wing configuration. In plain terms, there are no vertical fins or tails. The entire aircraft is a sleek flat wing. This means no big surfaces to bounce radar signals back, making the jet extremely hard to detect from any angle. In fact, defense analyst Dr. Emily Carter notes that combining a delta wing and stealth features is unusual, but very suited to China's needs. The J-36's shape, likened to a giant stealthy ginkgo leaf, was intentionally designed so that radar waves glide off its edges and nowhere can they see the jet clearly. From the front or rear, the J-36 is almost invisible to radar. Its engines are buried deep, its edges are sharply cranked, and even the cockpit windows are flush with the skin. Flight Global notes, the cockpit has side-by-side seating, but a flush EOTS, targeting sensor on the nose, unlike protruding sensors on earlier jets. These features all cut its infrared and radar signature. In short, the J-36 is a ghost in the skies, far stealthier than even the US F-22 or F-35 could be. No wonder analysts say it makes sense only in the new threat environment China faces. This means enemy radar and missiles would struggle to lock on until it's almost too late. By the time an adversary realizes a J-36 is there, it can already be hundreds of miles away. In a mini story, imagine an F-22 flying into a contest of hide and seek. The J-36 simply disappears behind its radar horizon, leaving the F-22 guessing. When a pilot of a legacy jet sees radar blips, it may be a J-20 or older jet, not expecting a J-36 to be lurking. The J-36 rewrites the playbook. Other fighters will suddenly feel like antiquated relics by comparison. 2. Triple engine powerhouse, lightning in the sky. Most modern fighters have 2 engines. The J-36 has 3. That's unprecedented for a fighter jet. Picture a drone equipped with an extra booster on its back for insane speed. The J-36's central engine is fed by a dorsal top intake, plus 1 engine per wing gets airflow from the side. All 3 are likely Shenyang turbojets, WS-10 or WS-15, providing enormous thrust. What does that extra engine do? It gives the J-36 supercruise, the ability to cruise at supersonic speed without afterburners. In plain words, it can fly at more than Mach 1 all the time, not just in short bursts. 2 engines alone can't sustain that for long. The 3rd engine provides the extra push for true sustained supersonic dash. Retired Australian Air Force officer Peter Layton confirms the 3rd engine provides the additional thrust needed for cruising at supersonic speeds. The DoD even notes China is rapidly approaching technology typical of US standards, especially in engines. Dramatically, this means the J-36 can hit afterburners and rocket away from any pursuer or storm towards a target before they see it. No other current jet can combine stealth and 3-engine speed like this. Imagine a karate champion in a foot race against regular sprinters. The J-36 is that champion in the sky. An enemy F-35 could never outrun it. The J-36 could simply throttle back and let pursuers exhaust themselves chasing vapor trails. This gives China unprecedented hit-and-run ability. 3. Unrivaled range. Strike far behind enemy lines. Thanks to its tri-engine power and huge internal volume, the J-36 can carry enough fuel to reach any target across thousands of kilometers. According to a US defense report, early estimates put its combat range up to 3,000 kilometers, far beyond most fighters. In practical terms, that means a J-36 flying from the Chinese mainland could reach deep into regional hotspots without refueling. The jet's range ties to two factors: engine efficiency and fuel space. With its third engine, China can use mid-sized engines, like the WS-10, in triplicate, rather than struggling to build one massive engine. Each adds endurance. Combine that with a huge airframe, roughly 23 meters long and weighing 50 plus tons. And the J-36 has room inside for enormous fuel tanks. The Futura Sciences team notes its sheer size, and 3 engines give it massive thrust and range. And insiders say the extra engine is likely similar to the other 2, not a short-lived ramjet, confirming it's about sustained high speed, not a one-time boost. For storytelling, imagine sending a J-36 on a mission from Chengdu to Guam and back without a tanker. It could orbit patrolling or loiter far beyond where other fighters can. This fundamentally changes the map. Deterring allies from thousands of miles away becomes possible. Other jets might need repeated aerial refueling or couldn't reach some bases at all. The J-36 can go more places, stay longer, and still have energy left to fight. In effect, it replaces one-time shorter-range jets with a very long-range missile that can think and adapt mid-flight, a capability older fighters simply don't match. 4. Monster payload, internal weapons bays. Under its sleek belly, the J-36 hides a formidable arsenal: 3 internal weapons bays, 1 large central bay, and 2 smaller side bays allow it to carry far more munitions than any fighter. For comparison, the J-20 has 2 bays. Most Western fighters have 1 or 2. The Warzone and Chinese experts confirm the J-36 has 1 giant bay and 2 little ones, all loaded internally. This heavy payload capacity stems from its fat fuselage and sturdy landing gear, dual wheels on each leg. It could conceivably hold massive air-to-air missiles like the Ramjet PL-17, 200 plus kilometer range, or YJ-12 anti-ship missiles, and even long-range bombs, all tucked away until needed. Because these are internal bays, releasing ordnance doesn't break stealth. Other fighters often have to hang large bombs or missiles under their wings or belly, hurting their signature and aerodynamics. The J-36 carries its heavy punch inside, unseen. From a story perspective, picture the J-36 facing off against a fleet of older jets. It would send out a couple of large missiles silently, then vanish. The jets see nothing until their radars lock on a tiny blip, the missile. Meanwhile, the J-36 stays cloaked and far away. It's like a shark that fires harpoons from beneath the surface and disappears. This gives the J-36 a beyond visual range advantage no other fighter can match. Other jets simply don't have that much onboard firepower without sacrificing stealth or performance. 5. Onboard network hub, aerial destroyer. The J-36 is built not just to fight, but to command the entire battle. In modern warfare, the value of a jet isn't just its guns, but its sensors and its brain. The J-36 packs advanced radar, electronic warfare, and data links, essentially acting as a flying command post. Think of it as a mobile CIA spy plus AWACS, all in one. Analysts describe the J-36 as a command and control hub, or even an aerial destroyer capable of controlling other assets. It likely carries side-scanning AESA radars and optical sensors covering 360 degrees. In practice, that means the J-36 can see drones, ships, and enemy fighters coming from all sides. It can then relay targeting data to allied drones or jets, coordinate group strikes, and jam enemy radar, all while staying low observable. Imagine a J-36 orbiting high above a combat zone. Below it, a swarm of cheaper unmanned, loyal wingman drones spread out. The J-36 has eyes everywhere. It spots a distant target with its sensors, sends commands to its drones or friendly jets to engage it, and uses its own missiles or electronic attack where needed. This is system of systems warfare in action. Even US planners see this coming. The Air Combat Command Chief warns the J-36 could force America to push its own next-gen program. In short, the J-36 turns the sky into a networked battlefield, with itself at the center. Other fighters, which usually just look out a narrow cockpit view, can't match that. 6. Drone swarms and loyal wingmen. Building on its C2 role, the J-36 will likely work closely with unmanned drones, an area where it could truly eclipse legacy jets. 5th-gen fighters like the F-22 aren't built for coordinating drone swarms. They focus on their own kills. The J-36, by contrast, is reported to be designed to control loyal wingmen, basically AI-piloted combat drones that fly alongside it. This means one J-36 and dozens of drones might act as a team. The manned jet provides situational awareness and targets. The drones provide extra missiles, sensors, or even sacrificial radar decoys. The slash-gear analysis imagines the J-36 at the center of a networked battlefield, directing swarms of drones as if it were a naval flagship. This is far beyond the dogfights older jets fight. It's an air command ecosystem. Consider an engagement. An enemy advanced fighter tries to intercept, but the J-36 has sent 2 drones forward to bait or scout. The J-36 swoops in from another angle or simply pops off a missile from distance, while the drones create confusion. That is coordination no F-35 or F-15 built in the 2000s could ever manage. The British National Security Journal notes China's 6th-gen platform is specifically designed for deep strike performance and coordination with drones. The result, any lone old-school fighter is fighting blind and alone at a huge disadvantage. 7. Advanced Avionics and Sensor Suite. We've mentioned stealth, power, and control, but how do J-36 pilots actually see and fight? Through a state-of-the-art sensor suite that outclasses previous jets. While the details are secret, evidence points to an extremely powerful radar and optical sensors. For example, Flight Global notes the J-36's targeting camera, EOTS, is flush-mounted under the nose, minimizing drag and signature while giving a wide view. It likely also carries large AESA radars, capable of tracking multiple targets at extreme range. On top of that, each pilot has his own widescreen HUD, as in leaked photos, and the canopy likely has augmented reality displays. In short, imagine being inside one cockpit with double the situational awareness of any older jet. The pilots can read real-time data from drones, satellites, and other jets, as if they were inside a moving Xbox battle map. In narrative terms, this means no enemy can pop up on the J-36's flank. Its sensors are looking everywhere. If a 5th-gen F-35 tries to approach, the J-36 will spot it first. Even stealthy drones or missiles won't sneak by. The J-36 might even have infrared or ultraviolet sensors to catch heat signatures. The slash-gear report even suggests it can handle engagements entirely from behind cover, hit far-off targets, and manage engagements from well behind the front lines. Other jets simply have older generation avionics with narrower view and shorter detection range, making them older cameras in an era of 8K screens. 8. Twin-seat crew for superiority. Unlike almost every modern fighter today, the J-36 appears to have 2 crews side by side. While some earlier Chinese jets, like the J-20S, tried tandem seats, the J-36's broad cockpit seems built specifically for a duo. Flight Global confirms that with the dorsal intake, the pilot's rear view is poor, so having 2 brains and eyes in the cockpit is essential. Each has his own HUD and tasks. Why 2 seats? Big complex missions require more humans. One pilot can fly and dogfight if needed, while the other manages sensors, weapons, and drone operations. This double team allows unparalleled division of labor. In pilot speak, it means no fighter has to both aim guns and run network links simultaneously. The J-20S, Chinese 2-seat version of the J-20, had this advantage. The J-36 doubles down on it. Imagine a tense mission at night. One J-36 pilot maneuvers for position, the other is monitoring threats and sending commands to drones. Meanwhile, single-seat rivals scramble to do all that alone, risking mistakes. In a mini-story, a lone F-22 pilot may be fighting to control his jet, communicate and target. A lot for one person under stress. The J-36 crew can split the load, increasing reaction speed and accuracy. In a class of its own, this is a crewed flying cruiser, echoing Bill Sweetman's idea of the J-36 as an airborne cruiser that needs more hands to command all its firepower. 9. Carrier and naval superiority, stormproof stealth. The J-36 isn't just for land, it's built to dominate the seas too. Recent Chinese reports reveal an astonishing claim. This fighter can land on aircraft carriers, even in 6-meter swells. In other words, it can operate in storms that would ground US carrier jets. According to Futura Sciences, China has developed advanced automated control systems that let the J-36 steady itself in extreme conditions. The new Fujian carrier will be equipped with electromagnetic catapults, meaning the J-36 could launch and catch under deadly weather. This gives China an unstoppable advantage in the South China Sea and beyond. While rival fleets hide or retreat during typhoons, the J-36 equipped carrier wing can still fly. It literally dares to operate where others cannot. Why does this obsolesce other fighters? Because naval aviation is a key part of power projection. The US and others rely on carriers, but a J-36/Fujian combo means Beijing can threaten freedom of navigation under conditions where rivals must sit out. In effect, the J-36 could bring stealth fighter jets to the carrier fight for the first time. Picture a Japanese or American carrier in a rough storm. They launch subsonic Fa-18 or F-35s with difficulty. Now imagine China's carrier launching a J-36 effortlessly, radar silent, raining missiles. The enemy carrier is at a dire disadvantage. That kind of capability could make any existing naval strike fighter feel underpowered, obsolete against a platform that laughs at the weather. 10. Changing the air power game. First mover advantage. Finally, the J-36 may not just beat today's fighters, it's forcing tomorrow's too. By flying this new jet, China has grabbed a lead in the 6th generation race. Jack Buckby notes that while the US is aiming for a 2029 deployment of its NGAD program, the rumored F-47, China's J-36 could be operational by around 2030. That means China might field the world's first 6th gen fighter. This has rattled US planners. Air Force Secretary Frank Kendall downplayed panic, saying Chinese advances were expected, but others fear it pushes the US to scramble. Hudson Institute analyst Brian Clark explicitly called the J-36 a likely rival to the US next-gen fighter. Even USAF Lieutenant General Andrew Hunter admitted the J-36 could reach initial operating capability before America's new plane, though he insisted the US product would be better. In short, the J-36 has American generals worried. What does that mean? Geopolitically, a first mover advantage is huge. If the J-36 truly delivers on stealth sensors and weapons, then for a time, every existing fighter, F-35s, Rafales, Su-57s, would literally be obsolete by comparison. They couldn't match its combination of features and would have to adapt. This scenario forces other countries to either upgrade or build their own 6th gen designs to keep up. For a dramatic payoff, imagine the global outlook. Analysts are now comparing the J-36 to both the American B-21 bomber and the NGAD fighter. They ask, fighter or bomber or both? Because it blurs lines. It's hailed as China's answer to future US super weapons. Whether it truly obsoletes everything remains to be seen, but China has clearly put it on the map as a premier threat. As one source put it, the J-36 is serious contender in the evolving landscape of air warfare. What happens next is a cliffhanger. Will other nations scramble to match the J-36? Will upcoming programs like the US NGAD F-47, Japan's FX, or European 6th gen catch up? One thing is clear, modern air combat has changed. The J-36 has raised the bar. If you enjoyed this deep dive, smash that like button and subscribe for more cutting-edge defense analysis. Hit the bell icon to get notified when we break down the next game-changing weapon. And let us know in the comments, do you think the J-36 really makes all other fighters obsolete? What might be the real response?